Have you ever caught yourself in the middle of a thought spiral where one worry leads to another until your mind is racing, jumping from one idea to the next? It's exhausting. Most of us live with this constant mental chatter, a never-ending dialogue that runs through our minds from the moment we wake up until we fall asleep. Sometimes it's planning for the future. Other times it's reliving the past, judging, criticizing, worrying, or imagining scenarios that haven't even happened. But is this inner dialogue really you, the voice in your head? There's a quiet truth that often goes unnoticed in the noise of everyday life. The thoughts in your mind are not the same as the essence of who you are. The chatter, the running commentary, the endless stream of opinions and judgments, that's just the mind doing what it's been conditioned to do. You, however, are something far deeper than that voice. This distinction between the mind and the true self is at the heart of many spiritual teachings. And once you begin to grasp it, your entire relationship with your thoughts can change. In Hindu philosophy, there is a concept called Atman, which refers to the true self, the pure essence of who we are beneath the layers of thought, ego, and personality. Atman is untouched by the noise of the mind. It is the observer, the witness to everything we think, feel, and experience. In this tradition, recognizing the difference between your thoughts and your true self is the first step toward enlightenment. This is echoed in other spiritual paths too. Buddhism, for example, teaches that the mind is filled with illusions, distractions, and false identities. The challenge is learning to see beyond them. But in our modern world, this idea can feel foreign. We've become so identified with the mind and its chatter that we rarely question it. When the mind says, "I'm not good enough," we believe it. When it tells us, "I should be afraid," we react. It feels automatic. Yet if you've ever tried meditation or experienced moments of stillness, you might have noticed something remarkable. There are times when the chatter quiets down, and in those moments you're still here. You still exist fully and completely, even without the endless stream of thoughts. This shows that the thoughts are not essential to your being. Eckhart Tolle, a modern spiritual teacher, often speaks about this concept in his writings. He refers to the mind's chatter as the egoic mind, a part of us that is constantly busy grasping at the past or the future but rarely present in the now. Tolle points out that the ego feeds on fear, insecurity, and desire. It keeps us trapped in an endless cycle of thinking because that's how it maintains control. But when we step back and observe the mind without getting caught up in its stories, we begin to discover the stillness and peace that exists beneath it. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a radio constantly tuned to a station that plays nothing but static. You've been listening to this static for so long that you've forgotten what silence sounds like. You've become so used to the noise that it seems normal. But every now and then, there's a break in the static, and you hear a clear, beautiful melody in the distance. That melody is the voice of your true self, the you that exists beyond the mental chatter. This isn't to say that the mind is your enemy. It's an incredible tool, one that allows us to plan, analyze, and solve problems. But when the mind takes over, when it becomes the dominant force in our lives, we lose touch with the deeper part of ourselves. In the Bhagavad Gita, one of the great spiritual texts of India, the mind is described as both a friend and an enemy. It's a friend when we control it, but an enemy when it controls us. The goal is not to silence the mind completely, but to put it in its proper place. To recognize that while the mind is part of us, it is not all of us. Many people find that the more they pay attention to their thoughts, the more they realize how repetitive and meaningless much of their mental chatter is. You might notice that you're having the same internal conversations day after day, worrying about the same issues, replaying the same doubts. And yet, life continues to move forward whether or not you solve these imagined problems. The thoughts come and go, but they don't define your reality. This realization can be incredibly freeing. It's like waking up from a dream and realizing that you don't have to keep believing every thought that crosses your mind. But you may ask, how can I disconnect from the mental chatter? The observer and the noise. A powerful way to begin is to become the observer of our thoughts rather than the participant. When a thought arises, whether it's a fear, a judgment, or a memory, we simply notice it without attaching to it. This doesn't mean we push the thought away or fight it. Instead, we acknowledge its presence and allow it to pass, much like clouds moving across the sky. Over time, this practice helps us see that our thoughts are temporary, fleeting, and not as solid or real as they seem. Our thoughts are like leaves. Some are louder, some quieter, but they all come and go. We don't need to get caught up in them. So, as we begin to explore this journey, ask yourself, who am I beyond my thoughts? What remains when the mental chatter quiets down? These are questions that don't have immediate answers, but they are the gateway to a deeper understanding of yourself. When we stop identifying with every passing thought, we create space for something much more profound to emerge, the real you, the essence that exists beyond the noise. It is from this place of inner stillness that we begin to uncover a life of greater peace, clarity, and purpose. As we delve deeper into the essence of who we truly are, it's essential to recognize the role of the observer, the part of us that watches the thoughts rather than getting entangled in them. This observer is your true self, the silent witness that exists beyond the constant chatter of the mind. When you begin to connect with this observer, you may notice something transformative. The more you identify with this witnessing aspect, the less power the mental chatter has over you. Imagine a bustling marketplace filled with people, sounds, and vibrant colors. In the midst of this chaos, there is a serene, quiet corner where you can sit and observe it all without being drawn into the frenzy. This corner represents your true self. The noise of the marketplace, the thoughts, fears, and judgments, continues unabated, but from this vantage point, you are separate from it. You can simply watch, take it all in, and recognize that none of it defines you. This concept of the observer is emphasized as a pathway to enlightenment. For example, in Hinduism, this observer is known as witness consciousness. It's the part of you that can step back and observe your thoughts and emotions as if they were clouds passing through the sky. The challenge lies in the fact that many of us are so entrenched in our thoughts that we forget this observer exists. We become like actors in a play, completely absorbed in our roles, forgetting that we are also the audience. One powerful practice to connect with this observer is to sit in stillness and allow your thoughts to arise without judgment. You create a space where you can simply watch them. Picture a river flowing gently past you, with each thought as a leaf floating along its current. Some leaves may catch your attention, swirling in eddies, while others drift quietly by. By acknowledging these thoughts without attachment, you begin to cultivate a sense of detachment and clarity. You may even start to realize that you can choose which thoughts to engage with and which to let flow away. Consider the story of Siddhartha Gautama, who later became known as the Buddha. Before his enlightenment, Siddhartha was a man deeply troubled by the nature of existence. He spent years in rigorous ascetic practices, attempting to silence his mind and find peace. Yet it was only when he finally sat beneath the Bodhi tree, embracing stillness and allowing thoughts to arise without clinging to them, that he discovered the profound truth of his existence. He realized that he was not his thoughts. He was the awareness that witnessed them. This moment of awakening transformed him from a seeker into the Buddha, a beacon of light for countless others. Mental chatter often stems from conditioned beliefs and societal expectations. From an early age, we are bombarded with messages about who we should be, what we should achieve, and how we should feel. These beliefs take root in our minds, creating a cacophony of thoughts that often drown out our true voice. The noise is loud, but it's not who you are. It's a collection of thoughts and narratives, many of which may not even belong to you. Imagine you're driving a car down a busy road. The radio is blaring, your GPS is giving directions, and your passengers are chatting away. It's easy to get distracted by the noise and lose sight of your destination. Now picture yourself turning off the radio, silencing the GPS, and asking your passengers to be quiet for a moment. Suddenly, you can hear your own thoughts more clearly. You can focus on the road ahead, the scenery around you, and your own inner guidance. This is what happens when you practice connecting with the observer within you. As you continue to cultivate this awareness, you may start to notice that many of your thoughts are simply stories, narratives that your mind has created based on past experiences or future anxieties. They are not the unchangeable truth. For instance, when a thought arises saying, "I am not good enough," pause and examine it. Where did this belief come from? Is it based on a specific experience, or is it a generalization your mind has made over time? The source of your thoughts is more often than not rooted in fear or insecurity, not in reality. Every thought can be categorized as either love or fear. Thoughts stemming from love create peace and connection, while those arising from fear often lead to anxiety, judgment, and separation. By recognizing your thoughts as fear-based narratives, you can begin to challenge their validity. Are they truly yours? Do they reflect your true self? This questioning can lead you to profound realizations and, ultimately, to a life that is more authentic and aligned with your core values. The mental chatter often intensifies during times of stress or change. When life feels uncertain, the mind tends to overcompensate by generating even more noise. It's as if your inner critic is ramping up its commentary, trying to protect you from perceived danger. But in reality, this heightened state of awareness can lead to overwhelm. The key is to recognize this pattern without judgment, understanding that it's a natural response to uncertainty, but it doesn't have to control your experience. In moments of chaos, grounding practices can be incredibly helpful. Grounding involves bringing your awareness back to the present moment, away from the racing thoughts. This could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, feeling your feet on the ground, or focusing on the sensations in your body. Engaging your senses allows you to break free from the mental chatter and reconnect with your essence. For example, in Native American traditions, the practice of being in nature is revered as a means to ground oneself. The wind, the trees, and the flowing rivers are all reminders of the natural rhythm of life. By immersing ourselves in these elements, we can often find a sense of calm that quiets the chatter and allows our true self to emerge. Another powerful practice to help quiet your mind is deep breathing. Breathing is an essential yet often overlooked aspect of self-awareness. When you're caught up in mental noise, your breath tends to become shallow and rapid, further fueling the anxiety. By consciously taking deep, slow breaths, you activate your body's relaxation response, creating a sense of calm that can help silence the chatter. Begin by finding a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose, allowing your abdomen to rise. Hold this breath for a moment, then slowly exhale through your mouth, releasing any tension. Repeat this process several times, focusing solely on the sensation of your breath. With each inhale, imagine drawing in clarity and peace. With each exhale, visualize letting go of the noise and confusion. This simple practice can shift your awareness from the racing thoughts to the grounding rhythm of your breath. Mental imagery techniques can also be immensely helpful in quieting mental chatter. Picture a serene landscape, perhaps a tranquil beach with gentle waves lapping at the shore, or a peaceful forest bathed in soft sunlight. As you immerse yourself in this imagery, allow your mind to wander and explore the details of this environment. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? By engaging your senses in this way, You create a vivid mental escape that can pull you away from the incessant noise and back to your true self. Engaging in creative expression can also be a powerful antidote to mental chatter, whether through writing, painting, dancing, or playing music. Creative outlets provide a way to channel your thoughts and emotions. When you immerse yourself in a creative process, you often enter a state of flow where the noise fades, and you become fully absorbed in the moment. Consider the story of Vincent van Gogh, whose mental struggles often manifested in turbulent thoughts. Yet it was through his art that he found solace and connection with his true self. Each brush stroke allowed him to express the emotions that words could not convey. In this way, creativity becomes a bridge that connects the noise of the mind to the silence of the soul. Quieting your mind is not merely about silence. It is about embracing the wholeness of who you are, including both your light and your shadows. It is in this acceptance that true transformation begins. Embracing the wholeness of self means recognizing that the chatter in your mind often reflects not just fears and insecurities, but also the unprocessed experiences and emotions you carry. Many of these thoughts may stem from past events, conditioning, or societal expectations that do not resonate with your true essence. Your identity is made of various threads, some vibrant and others dark. Each thread has its purpose, and acknowledging this is the first step toward integration. The mental chatter you experience may feed the more negative aspects of yourself, but you have the power to choose which thoughts to nurture and which to let go. This choice is central to self-acceptance. When you acknowledge your mental chatter without judgment, you can begin to understand its origins and the lessons it offers. Instead of suppressing negative thoughts, explore them with curiosity. Ask yourself where they come from and what truth they might hold. This approach not only diminishes their power over you but also creates a space for healing. By understanding the root causes of your fears and doubts, you empower yourself to transform them. Embracing self-compassion is another crucial element in this journey. It's easy to be critical of ourselves when faced with mental chatter, especially when negative thoughts arise. However, treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend can radically shift your experience. When you feel that familiar voice of criticism creeping in, pause and acknowledge it. Then respond with compassion. Remind yourself that it is okay to struggle and that everyone experiences moments of doubt. In Buddhism, self-compassion is often highlighted as a way to cultivate a more loving relationship with oneself. This practice encourages you to recognize your shared humanity, that you are not alone in your experiences of struggle and imperfection. When you extend kindness to yourself during challenging moments, you create a soft space within which healing can occur. An example of this in action might involve a moment of self-doubt that arises when you're about to share your thoughts in a meeting. Instead of berating yourself for feeling anxious, practice self-compassion. Acknowledge the feeling, understand that it's a common human experience, and reassure yourself that it's okay to feel this way. You might even remind yourself of times when you've succeeded despite your fears. This simple shift can help quiet the chatter and pave the way for clarity and confidence. As you cultivate self-compassion, you may find that your mental chatter starts to shift. Instead of being a relentless critic, it becomes a more supportive inner voice guiding you toward growth and understanding. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent practice, you can nurture a relationship with yourself that reflects love and acceptance. Another powerful tool for embracing your true self is the practice of gratitude. Focusing on what you are grateful for shifts your perspective and helps reduce the noise of negative thoughts. By regularly acknowledging the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small, you foster a mindset of abundance. This practice can help quiet mental chatter by redirecting your focus toward what truly matters. You might begin a daily gratitude journal, writing down 3 things each day that you appreciate. This simple act can open your eyes to the beauty in your life, grounding you in the present moment and providing a reprieve from the overwhelming noise of the mind. Over time, this practice can significantly alter your mental landscape, replacing feelings of lack or fear with a sense of fulfillment and joy. The journey of understanding and quieting mental chatter is ongoing. There will be days when the noise feels unbearable and others when you feel a profound sense of peace. Both experiences are part of the beautiful tapestry of life. Embracing the ebb and flow of your thoughts allows you to remain rooted in the present, continually discovering more about yourself. Your mental chatter does not define you. It is merely a reflection of your experiences, beliefs, and the human condition. By developing a deeper awareness of this chatter and cultivating practices that foster acceptance, self-compassion, and gratitude, you can learn to navigate the noise with grace. You will find that your true self, free from the chatter, is always present, waiting to be discovered. You have the power to choose how you respond to your thoughts. In the words of Rumi, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Your mental chatter can serve as a guide, illuminating the path toward your true self. Embrace the entirety of your being, including the thoughts that arise, for they are part of your story. Each moment spent in awareness is a step toward liberation from the confines of your mental chatter. Embrace the beauty of this process, knowing that within you lies a wellspring of wisdom, clarity, and authenticity waiting to unfold. Your journey to quiet the mind has only just begun, and the road ahead is paved with potential and transformation.